They're going to be in the right mood and the right attitude to want to do it. And that's where you find a lot of these players have come from Europe and they've really, they haven't really got into it. And that's the reason why I didn't play in the first game maybe, But certainly they've got a lot of quality in their team.
Well, the story of Sierra Leone in their game against Algeria was just resistance throughout the game.
Well, the easiest thing in football is to be negative, I always say. It's easy. And in a game like football, you can get away with it. I mean, where most games, the best team normally wins. Game out because they're going to catch up with you. You need a little bit of something. And if they go a goal down early, that's where the difference is going to come.
Yeah, and you need to. I mean, you need the goals. You need to go for broke. You need to get the victory in order to progress.
No, you do. And this is the kind of pressure that the Sierra Leone team now go into this particular game with. Yes, they had a wonderful, hard-fought, no-score draw against Algeria. Yeah. But what that, on the other hand, says to them offensively, there's a problem. They've now, though, failed to score in 5 of their last 6 AFCON games. So that automatically puts pressure on that front three and how they go about trying to break down that star-studded Ivory Coast defence today.
All right, talking about the defence, that was most certainly the shining or the leading light in their performance against Algeria. Is that also going to be key today? But as you said, you can't defend for the entire game. You have to move forward as well. You take a look at the starting lineup for the Leone Stars and some of the players that really excelled. Coker, for example, on his Sierra Leone debut, defender. Very, very strong. But what have they got going forward on offer?
Going forward, for me, they've certainly got an abundance of talent, and one such person is Bundu. Now, we've seen his capabilities on free kicks out wider, in wider areas, especially the way he's got this knack of delivering them into decent areas. But for me, they've got to get their strikers and their taller defenders like Coker on the end of those deliveries today. And if they get that right, they will definitely cause a problem for that Côte d'Ivoire defence.
Yep. I think the biggest chance they've got is to try and get the ball up the pitch a little bit earlier and try and get a little bit more restarts and, and when the ball goes out of play, they can get a little bit more organised the game. That's going to be the problem. Can they slow the game down, try and drag the game out as much as possible, and I think that's what they did in the previous game against Algeria. And if they can do that and get themselves up the pitch a little bit quicker, I think they might have a chance,
They are overcoming a late first half injury scare. Kamara, of course, in the Algeria encounter. Fit enough. There were concerns if he was going to be fit enough to participate today. He is. So another positive for Sierra Leone.
Yeah, they'll take all the positives they can get in this particular game today, and you're quite right. He is a positive for them. Just gives them that extra bit of impetus in terms of how they need to go about this particular game today, because they're going to have to bring everything they've got and at the same time leave everything out there on the pitch by the end of these 90 minutes, Carol.
All right, let's look at tactically up and where this game is going to be won and lost. So much being said, obviously, about the firepower. As you said, quite possibly too much for Sierra Leone. Just a plethora of stars for Côte d'Ivoire. So we're looking at their offense and just how powerful they're going to be.
As well, big frame of Awani, and chance for Trusek on the save, the follow-up, bobbing around in that penalty area, and then eventually
lineup and in this setup for them to get something out of this game?
Not enough for me from a Sierra Leone perspective, and that's why we seem to be placing a lot of emphasis on set plays. And I think the quicker you get your team higher up the pitch in the faces of that Ivory Coast defence, the more opportunities you have to pick up a free kick here and there, outside the box, out wide. And I spoke about the quality they have in terms of Bundu on those free kicks and the quality of his delivery. And when he's on free kicks out this area here, and he's able to put balls into an area like this in here, and you've got the rest of him, and this guy here, Bangura, gets on the end of free kicks out wide. He's got a very good heading ability about him. I think that's going to be, for the most part, that's going to be the way that I see this game panning out for Sierra Leone.
I think the big thing you've seen in this tournament, even the minnow teams, the teams are so athletic. So they've got a little bit of pace in the wide areas and get themselves out, you know. Because generally they're going to be playing from their own half a lot of the time, Sierra Leone. So you need to have a little bit of athleticism to get out into wide areas. And I think they've got that. And they've got the strength and the power. So anytime, as I said, we've said on your right, on the set plays, even throw-ins, you know, they can push Kolke into the box, float in the box, you know, things happen there, you know. And that's where they can possibly get something. But I think to outplay them and outpass them, I don't think they've got the quality.
All right, we're going to be getting your predictions very shortly. I know you've already started sending them through to us as well on social media, #SSAFCON21 for this Group E matchup at the Japoma Stadium in Douala. Let's not forget as well, building up to another key clash, that between Tunisia and Mauritania, and this one back in Limbe, at the Limbe Omnisport. Of course, Tunisia really denied a dream start. They are participating in their 15th consecutive Africa Cup of Nations, but they didn't start the tournament the way that they wanted to. And of course, it's going to be a big clash. Both sides looking to collect their first points of the competition.
It is said that you're only as good as your last game, and this is perhaps all too true for Tunisia, who, by virtue of having finished 4th in Egypt in 2019 and making their 15th consecutive appearance at AFCON this year, were dubbed the firm favourites to finish top of Group F. But after a rocky and controversial start to their campaign, Tunisia now somewhat surprisingly find themselves languishing at the bottom of the log as they prepare for their second group game. The Eagles of Carthage suffered a 1-0 loss to Mali in their opening fixture, one which will perhaps be remembered more for the rather peculiar officiating rather than the end result. They did subsequently lodge a request for the match to be replayed, but the request was denied, which means they will need to quickly turn their disappointment into motivation and step out strongly against Mauritania at the Limbe Omnisport Stadium in their second Group F fixture. Both sides coming to the encounter on the back of defeats after Mauritania also went down 1-0 to Gambia in their opening game and have now both recorded defeats in their last 2 international matches. With both teams seemingly enjoying a similar run of form, the Eagles of Carthage are still overwhelming favourites to get the result and will be under pressure to ensure that they progress beyond the group stages for the 3rd successive time. This largely to the fact that they've never lost against Mauritania. This time might prove a bit tougher for Tunisia though, as 7 of their players will be unavailable for this crucial game. Midfielder Aissa Ledoni suffered an injury in the game against Mali, and a further 6 players will be unavailable as they returned positive COVID results. In a tournament that has so far presented a sequence of unfortunate events for Tunisia, will their run of bad luck and misfortune continue, or will the 2014 champions rise to the occasion and get a victory in their second game?
Well, the Carthage Eagles, one of the tournament favourites, had a less than perfect start to their Africa Cup of Nations campaign in themselves, along with Mauritania still needing to pick up some points. They should get the job done here, though.
Yeah, they should. They weren't very good in the first game to this year. Very lethargic. I think the later kickoff might help them. You know, not that it's cooler, but it certainly will be a little bit. And then normally play in the middle of the day, so I think that'll help them a little bit. Obviously, a lot of changes in the team. Maybe, as they said, there were forced changes as well. The boy Hannibal, I thought with all the, you know, the lights and everything was going on about him, he was poor. I think he's left out the team as well. So few changes, which normally happens after a bad, not a good result.
Yeah, handball, of course, being pulled out after a really quiet first-half performance in Tunisia's initial matchup. And once again, as Gavin rightfully said, on the bench today. Not too many changes were expected from the Mauritania side, and that's the thing. You've got your star lineup, your star individuals that you're always going to look towards. So not too many changes there. But an expected lineup from Tunisia?
Yep, I think this is about possibly the strongest that they could put out for this particular game today. As I said at the top of the show, there's no room for error today. They've got to be clinical about the way they go into this particular encounter, and they go into it on the back of a bit of a disturbing run at AFCON, Carol. They've now lost their 3 consecutive games at AFCON, and this for the first time since '94. And we hard pressed to believe that this is the case with a Tunisian side like this, who've got so much experience in navigating their way through tournaments like AFCON as well. So a bit of pressure for them today.
Yep.
But I think they've got what it takes with the team they put out there today to overcome this hurdle.
Yeah, Mauritania themselves have been, through quite the dry spell. Just 1 win from their last 11 games across all competitions. And you take a look at the lineup, and the question is, do they have enough to try and get
to overcome this hurdle?
Yeah, Mauritania themselves have been, through quite the dry spell. Just 1 win from their last 11 games across all competitions. And you take a look at the lineup, and the question is, do they have enough to try and get something out of this particular game? They've got their trusted individuals, the likes of Abubakar Kamara, who was expected once again to start and is doing so, leading with aplomb.
Look, they've got a good coach, been around, but I think a country like this, I think they're just happy just to qualify. And I think to get to the stage of getting the tournament, so many players play in the local league as well. Again, same. It's a similar a copy and paste, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, the previous game that we spoke about. So it's pretty much the same. I think they're going to be under huge pressure again. Similar type of mindset, sitting in and trying to play from there. Tunisians have to come a little bit, I thought, as I said, I thought they were poor in the first game, but I think the changes will still spark them a little bit,
All right, let's get the predictions for this encounter. None of them are going to be easy. Who wins this one?
Tunisia, and I think and Côte d'Ivoire will win the other game, I think, comfortably.
Yeah, Tunisia. I can't see Mauritania getting their first win in the competition with this against the Tunisian side. So Tunisia for me.
All right. We, of course, just showed you who is in the starting 11 for both matches, of course, taking part in Limbe as well as out in Douala. And after the break, of course, we'll be heading to the action in Group E and F. We've got the predictions here in the studio for both matches. Let's continue to get yours as well on hashtag SSAFCON21.
What we and everyone inside the stadium have come to witness. What a start.
Oh my word! You will never see a better goal! Elton Yankees secures victory!
And we never stop. The future of women's tennis is so great.
It's breathtaking. This is as good as it gets.
These players, they don't give up.
And we never stop.
Manyama! World Series champions. What a magic football match.
SuperSport will never stop bringing you the best in sports entertainment. Stay connected to DSTV and enjoy it all in 2022.
Of all the drama, of all the controversy, of all the magic moments, it comes down to this.
Welcome to SuperSport Podcasts. Join some of South Africa's best minds as they unpack the action on your World of Champions and give you the inside track into your favorite sports. Tune in as they go behind the headlines, beyond the game, and explore the stories that matter. Visit supersport.com and enjoy the catalog anywhere, anytime.
Color is Tatulo as we bring you a brand new knockout tournament, the DSTV Compact Cup, the viewer's choice. Winner, we are Chavanista and they fight for the cup. 4 teams with 26 players will make the cut. Who'll it be? Take control and vote. Dial *120*830# or visit supersport.com for more. And stand a chance to win 1 million rand when you're a DSTV Compact subscriber, or 500k if you're not. You're in control with the DSTV Compact Cup, the viewer's choice, live on SuperSport. DSTV Compact. Kumnandekaya.
Welcome to Melbourne Park, day one. The atmosphere is enormous.
As if we needed more drama.
Party brilliance.
Tsitsipas soars into the semi-finals.
Two giants of the women's game.
Who will be champion today?
United by the spirit of the Australian Open. Broadcast live on 2 SuperSport channels. Join DSTV Premium and have it all. Brought to you by M&G Investments. Invest in consistency.
This for the series win. It's got the distance. The Springboks snatch it.
Thrilling driving though. They are racing to the line and Bottas has got Esteban Ocon right at the line.
And here come Everton. Oh, there's your hero.
Service call. Clean up on aisle 5. I repeat, clean up on aisle 5.
Feet again. Gets it straight. Go all the way for a 6.
Even when we're not watching it, we're thinking about it.
Off the backboard and he slams!
And with so much incredible sport on offer in 2022, including the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, the Commonwealth Games, and the Beijing Winter Olympics, you best get your head in the game.
A friendly reminder to all our customers that when it comes to world-class sport, nothing beats SuperSport on DSTV.
Lagi ngocha sa Egypt tugana DSTV ngiyala awitholda phela nayo akon le uyithola la kuphela umchino satellite asekela phake Egypt phakathi boxini sebenzekela phake Hegazi nathi thuba le Nigeria yanasho khalakacha
Linda mlango akiwa ametoka na kuliacha lango, lakini mpira wa pili nao watu wamejisahau na kumwona Vincent Abubakar ni kama mchezaji wa kawaida.
Haya, chupa anatoa pasi pembeni sasa kule ndani. Martin anaingiza bao la kujifunga hili. Bao lingine. Bao la kujifunga. Lakini mpira wa mwisho kama vile kaugusa Vincent Abubakar. Kama atakonyewa si ni bao lake la 80.
2021 que acontece em 2022, tem 3 canos para sair. Está aí a oportunidade para Marrocos, remate, golo! Sofiane Boufal a aproveitar uma bola que ficou ali na área, não pensou, colocou o pé bateu o guarda-redes, Walcott.
Remember all the good times that we shared.
At Total Energies, we go the extra mile for you.
Football is a sport played with a ball of a circumference of 70 centimeters. Studs. On a grass-covered field.
There's not only one football. There's not only one way to get closer to football. We are offering 20,000 recycled rubber balls to football fans. All sponsors change.